I can't believe that I've never done this video before because you guys know I've been freelance modeling for like 13 years at this point. If you don't know now, you do know. I've been on the news live for modeling handbags, eyewear, jewelry. Also, I've been in a magazine. I've been in the top 100 of like, it's fun. It's just a hobby for me. I've had a few paid gigs, but nothing like serious. Anyway, I think that makeup for photography is very specific. Like, to have makeup photographed beautifully when you're getting your photos done is something people do all the time for family photos, maternity photos. Maybe they're getting headshots. Like, it doesn't matter. So today I'm going to show you my base routine and my eye makeup. So it'll be like a full face of makeup that I like to wear when I'm being photographed. And it's going to give you all the little tips and tricks for your skin to look really perfected, not too makeup-y, but at the same time not wash you out and look like you have no makeup on at all, because there's a fine line and balance. I do makeup for a living, like I do bridal and photography makeup, and those are two very different things. One is very long lasting and one needs to show up good in front of the lights, in low light, on camera, etc. So I'm excited to get into this today. Please don't mind my roller mohawk. I'm trying a new thing with my hair where I've been doing like a fake blowout with like a roller brush. We're gonna see if it turns out. I don't know, it probably will. I got layers recently and I should have asked for them shorter, but I digress. I am also dog sitting today, so I have 2 dogs. My sister has 2. There will be 4 in my home. Her puppies are a year old and a couple months old. I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. So we've got like all of the things happening in this house today. So just bear with me and let's go ahead and get into the video. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do like it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment of a video that you want to see pretty please. You guys, I'm still a really small creator. Over here on the TikTok side of things, I'm much larger. But over here, I really want to build up my community. I want to know what content you guys want to see. To prep my face, I'm going to be using some sunscreen and some caffeine eye cream. So this is the Lancome sunscreen. I've been loving it. It smells so good. Like, honestly, it smells so good, and it hydrates the skin just enough for me, and that is like the extent of my skin prep. I just want really hydrated skin. And obviously I already did my brows, so I am going to let this sink into my skin for a little bit before we go in with makeup. And I'm going to use this caffeine eye cream from The Ordinary. I've been loving it. I always have really puffy under eyes. They're not too bad today because I've been up for a little while yet, but it's just like a gel and it helps to depuff the eye, and it also is really good to just like hydrate the under eye. So if you're not using a caffeine serum, just do something to hydrate your under eye, especially if you have dry under eyes. It's going to give you the most youthful, just like smooth, plump under eye, and you'll have less opportunity for it to be creasy and like crepey, which no one likes. Okay, we're gonna talk about foundation. Now, these are the 2 foundations that I love to use when I'm being photographed. Why? Because they cover up redness, dark marks, they really even out my skin tone, but sometimes if I do a thin layer, it allows my freckles to still peek through, which can be very flattering on camera. So that's the L'Oreal Infallible, and then the House Labs. I'm gonna use the House Labs today because I've been obsessing over it. You guys, if you haven't tried this, either get a sample from Sephora or order a sample off their website, please, because I have had and tried many a foundation in my day, like hundreds probably. Like, that's what I do for a living, you know what I'm saying? I gotta try the new makeup, I gotta know what's good, and I don't know. When you try foundation, there's either like good foundation or bad foundation. I have never had a foundation that's just like so different. This foundation is so different. Something about it is so skin-like, and serum-like and lightweight, but it just, I don't know how to describe it. You guys have to try it. It is a beautiful foundation. Obsessed. Okay, obsessed. All right, the dogs are here and everyone has at least went into the bathroom in the house once between the 4 of them, so it's just been chaos. We are back. I still have the wet concealer. We're gonna go in and just go ahead and bronze up. I'm gonna use a very sheer cream bronzer. This is the iconic London Sheer Bronze, and these are such a thin formula that they blend really easily, and I'm going to layer powder on top because I notice when you layer creams and powders, especially with photography, you just get more depth, more dimension. It just looks better and more flawlessly blended. Now, with this being such a sheer bronzer, I know that I can get away with quite a few drops, and I also can get away with it sitting on my skin without leaving any demarcation because of how thin of a formula it is. When you're dealing with a thicker formula, it is usually more full coverage, but it dries down quicker as well. So you want to be really careful with that. Like just leaving it to set on your skin. With this one, I know that I'm alright doing that because it blends well. But with a thicker consistency, what I was trying to say is you might notice like demarcation and lines in it trying to dry down. Push this into the skin with tapping motion so I don't disrupt the product underneath. And by doing this, I'm going to get that really, really nice blend and glow with this brush. I'm going to add just a little bit more over here. For some reason, I feel like this side of my face always needs more pigment than this side. I don't know why that is. Now I'm going to go in with a cream blush. This is my favorite, the ColourPop blush sticks. Again, I'm layering creams and powders because I feel like that gives me a more flawless blend. I want to do everything cream before I powder anything. So I'm just going to apply this to the cheeks. And I like to use tapping motion so I don't disrupt the product underneath. When you wipe or swipe with this, you're going to get more color payoff, but again, I just like to tap and it will build up. Eventually, you just have to be patient and then we will blend it out. So I'm just, again, tapping this out so we don't disrupt the product underneath in any way. And I just love the way that this blush looks. I love the color. This is the shade Under Pressure. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I've had this blush for over a year and still it hasn't ran out, and that's kind of impressive. Is I like to add the teensiest little bit of blush, okay, on the sides of my contour, in between my contour and my foundation, okay? Just like, okay, how do I explain this? So there's foundation here and then contour and then blush. So then there's foundation here and then contour and then blush. What it does is it just adds a little bit of youthfulness and cohesiveness to the skin. It makes it look like a little bit more natural. You're gonna have a little bit of a flush to your face everywhere. And with makeup, we're starting with a blank canvas and then we're adding the color back exactly where we want it. And the reason I want it on these little spots right here, and sometimes just a little bit right here, is because it adds that like naturalness back to the skin, that youthful plumpness, that color. And you just want a really, really, really small amount of that. Like, you don't need anything crazy, you know what I'm saying? We want just like, just the teensiest little kiss of color. Okay, so now I'm using the Makeup Revolution translucent powder. This is one of my all-time faves. It's a drugstore powder, and I'm just using a powder puff to push this into the skin. And I'm going to push this into my under eye and my T-zone because that's where I get oily. So my upper lip, the sides of my nose, my chin, and my forehead. The rest of my face doesn't need that much powder, but for longevity, like if my photo shoot is in a long time or whatever it may be, then I may go ahead and set it, just because by the time I wear it for a couple of hours, I will get a little bit of that dew back. But I don't feel that it's necessary. Unless you're really oily, then definitely push a lot of powder into your skin because that's going to help keep those oils at bay. And we can bring the dewiness back with powders that are like a more luminizing powder. The Jaclyn Hill Dew Light is the first one that comes to mind, or the Hourglass Ambient, but obviously that one is a little bit pricey, and the Jaclyn Hill one is no longer for sale, unfortunately. We're just going to push this into the skin where we need it with the powder puff. I feel like a good bake on a full glam day, don't get me wrong, but today is not the day for me personally. I am using the Too Faced Chocolate Soulier Bronzer. I don't know where that came from. It smells so good, and it has just, this is the golden cocoa, so it says it has shimmer to it, and it does not have shimmer to it. But it isn't like a true matte, it is like the lightest satin, and I like this because it just makes my skin look like skin, and this is going to photograph really, really well. I don't want to be dewy, I want to control where the sheen and the shine is, but if I have like a completely matte face, it's going to show up like I have a lot of makeup on, because our face naturally is not matte. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has some dew, it has some oils to it. I just like to control where those come from. And I do like to blend this into my temple of my eye sockets. I feel like I get a really, really nice face shape doing this. Like, even if I'm going back and adding eyeshadow, which I am, it just gives this more cohesive overall vibe. Same reason that we put the blush on our chin. Like, we're just going to, I don't know how to explain it, but it just makes everything cohesive. I am putting this a little bit under my chin, but you'll notice I didn't dip the brush back in the product because I don't want to do too much. I don't want it to be like a stark, harsh line. I just kind of want to very lightly define, and by lightly I mean real lightly, define that jaw so that it kind of shows up a little bit more defined on film, but I don't want like a harsh line to show up on film where it's like just a makeup stripe, you know, so be careful. I'm using the Milani Luminoso blush. I honestly, you guys, I think this will be the blush that I use on my wedding day, and if you see my wedding makeup tutorial, you know that I said that then. And I stand by that. Every time I use this blush, I'm like, this is the best blush that's ever been invented ever in the history of all makeup products. I just love this blush. It's so flattering. It has just the lightest layer of sheen, and it's showing up a little bit more intense on camera with all these lights in front of me, but it, oh my gosh, does it photograph so super model effortlessly beautifully. And it's just my tried and true because I know how well it photographs, you know what I'm saying? I'm contemplating what palette that I want to use because I want some browns and I want them to be kind of warm but not too warm, which can be a challenge. But I think I'm going to use this this is the Morphe 9M Midnight Dune. To this day, Morphe is still one of the most pretty, flattering, easy to use eyeshadows out there, in my humble opinion. Like, I'm still a huge fan of Morphe, and this 9-pan my goodness, y'all. This 9-pan palette has names, so that can be really beneficial. And this is also a really affordable price range, so it's really attainable for those of you that are watching. We're gonna go ahead and get into this palette. I did drop it and break it a little bit, as you can see, but we have a really warm brown. We have a medium. This has like a little bit of warmth to it, and then we've got some cool browns here. So I like the variety, and then we have a nice brow bone highlight, and we've got some shimmers. This is just really, really great for, hello. Really great for everything, if you ask me. Oh my goodness. So this fell out, and then when I just tried to lift this, the shadow's trying to fall out. I've dropped this a number of times though, so I definitely don't think it is a them problem, it is a me problem. I knew there was a reason I shouldn't lift this up. I just like to prep my eyes with the concealer that I used, as you guys seen, and then I also like to set it with the concealer, the powder that I use to set under my eyes. That's my preferred way of prepping my eyelids. I will use the Tarte Shape Tape if I'm doing a very dramatic like 2016 makeup look, which I still love to do, but notice like my freckles are still popping through, but I don't really have like my veins or discoloration popping through, so it gives you just it just looks good when it's photographed, trust me on this. So first things first is I'm going to use like this tapered brush. It's just a nice little crease brush, and I'm going to use the shade Mood Swept. So it is like a medium and kind of neutral, and we're gonna just put this in my crease. I'm gonna use really light pressure here to get this into my crease, and personally, to fan this out just a little bit looks good, but I don't want it to be too dramatic again because we're being photographed. I just want there to be like color on my lids and definition and all of the good stuff, and I'm gonna kind of connect this down into my nose here, because that's gonna just look more cohesive when being photographed instead of it just looking like you have like this disconnect of eyeshadow. I don't know if that makes sense. This is very pigmented though, and I already feel like maybe we went too heavy-handed, but that's okay because I can go in with a more creamy shade and kind of go back and highlight and blend a little bit more how I want to. But putting this in the little concave and attaching it to your crease is going to just, again, just give that really, really cohesive look that we're going for. And before I even apply another shade or add any more to this brush, I'm just going to make sure that everything is really, really, really fully blended, because when you're being photographed, you don't want anything to look choppy and weird. So even taking a blank, clean, fluffy brush with no product and using really light pressure to go over what you did will give you really, really, really soft, blown out, blended looks. Super great trick if you're going to be documented or you have like an event or like the lighting is going to change. Highly recommend, because it doesn't take that long and it can make a really big difference in your blend. Because then you're not blending and adding more product, like you're just blending what is already on your eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take the same brush just because that's how I roll. I'm like, if I was doing my makeup, that's what I would be doing. And I'm going to use the really dark warm brown shade called Full Gravity. I'm just barely dipping the edge of this brush in, and I'm going to knock off the excess because I don't want too much going on here. And then I'm going to put this on the outer 2/3 of the eye, and I'm just going to keep that really concentrated right there, because I still want some brightness in my inner corner. My eyes look better that way, so I don't want to pull it all the way in. And I don't want this too dark, so that's just going to give us a really, really nice little bit of color without being too much. Here's Maple Girl. She's being a bit naughty. Waffle, you're too big for me to pick up and show the people, I'm sorry. Waffle is a year old and Maple is just a couple months old, so she is just, she's never been here. Waffle's been here before, they just got Maple, so she is just exploring, and I can hear her trying to get into like our bedroom and bathroom doors and stuff. And then my older dog, who is 7, is like, you can hear him. He's not being mean, but he's trying to like reprimand him. Anywho, I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit because why not, folks? I'm gonna use that fluffy brush that we used to blend everything out before, and just with light pressure, make sure that those two colors, the crease color and that darker color we put on the outer 2/3, are just married together. And I'm not going to use any shimmer. Shimmer can photograph really beautifully, and oh my goodness, does it look good on a wedding night. But personally, I just feel like a nice, solid matte eye is good, because when you use a shimmer, sometimes you can risk your lids looking a little bit like cakey and creasy, depending on the shimmer that you use, the quality of shimmer and all that. And so I'm just not willing to risk it on days that I'm getting myself photographed. Typically, if I want to do like a really thin veil of glitter, I might, but I'm typically, more times than not, just doing a pretty matte eye. I use this really light shade called Moon Canyon, and it's a matte shade, and I'm going to highlight my brow bone right here. And so I'm using a flat brush just so I can really pack that color on and get more control of the color and more opacity here. And this is going to highlight my brow bone, so it's going to make the crease appear a little bit deeper and darker, but also just give us a little bit of dimension, like more dimension without having to layer darker colors. So always use light to your advantage. I'm gonna pat just a little bit on the inner corner as well so it looks more cohesive. Doing this step might seem unnecessary, but I'm telling you, when you're being photographed, if you want to fully put makeup everywhere, you're putting makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have powder and concealer there and then eyeshadow all over the rest of our eye. We might as well have it there. It's going to then look like all the same finish, you know? And you want that cohesiveness when you're being photographed, and you want that full effect, and you want to make sure you're doing everything to its fullest extent. I am going to use like a little bitty angled brush, very thin, and there's a cooler, darker brown color in here called Stone Temple, and I'm going to use that just to hit the outer corner of my lashes here. And that's going to add just a little bit of dimension. We're not doing like a winged liner or anything like that. We're not doing liner at all. In fact, we're going to do like a naked half lash. It's going to look so good. I'm really, really excited. I'm excited to share those lashes with you guys because they have been my current go-to favorites. Just to add a little bit of dimension. And so when we do put that half lash on, that looks a little bit more connected. I am keeping this pretty light, you know, like we don't want it to be thick. And this isn't a black, so it's going to appear softer and less harsh. I'm going to take the Morphe M506. I'm obsessed with this thing, and I've had it for like 8 years now. It's just really, really small in a blender, so what I'm going to do is use the shade that we used in the crease and just kind of fluff over that liner, but avoid this outer line, because I want it to be defined out here, but less defined in here, if that makes sense. And so using this crease color, I can kind of just soften that a bit so I still get that gradient, but it's not as defined. It's just nice and soft. And then I'm going to use a little bit of that really dark shade that we use and put on the outer 2/3, and I'm going to, with really light pressure, deepen up this outer corner. Now, after I added that little bit, you might even see just a sparkler or two, and it's because in this palette there's shimmer, and I think it has gotten into some of the matte shades. So it's not fully matte because like there's just a speck of glitter here and there from it mixing over, but there's not much I can do about that. I'm just using this blank brush to, again, make sure everything is nice and married together and that they just love each other, you know? I am going to pull out a different palette because this has a pure white in it. It's another Morphe palette. It's the Abby Roberts palette. And I'm going to use this pure white and mix it with a little bit of the cream to get a little bit of a brighter vibe going. My dogs always just like lay down and chill out. These dogs are not doing that. And I love dogs so much, but this reminds me why I should not have 4. Thank goodness, like, me and my sister's dogs get along though. That makes it really easy so that we don't have to board them when either of us have a trip or go out of town. They're doing a family vacation at a lake and at Airbnb this weekend. They're so excited, and it'll be my nephew's first ever vacation, so I'm excited for them. And we just got back from Colorado, so they watched my dogs, and then we're going to Montana this summer, and they might go on a trip this summer as well. So again, it just makes it really, really easy. But okay, let's move on to mascara. And no, let's do our under eye. I don't like to do a whole lot, so I'm going to use the Morphe M506. I'm going to use the shade we used in our crease, and I'm just going to dust this really lightly under the eye to give me some definition, but I don't want too much, you know? I like a pretty light under eye, but skipping it all together is going to not look cohesive, and that's like the whole theme of the game here. I'm going to use the lighter shade that we used to highlight the brow bone and just make sure that this is a really, really blended out. That's going to give us a really blown out pretty under eye. Highly suggest using 2 shades and like a really light shade close to your skin tone to blend out that under eye, because it's going to make it look just really nice and buffed out. And don't go too low, of course, especially with dark colors, because that's how you're going to get raccoon eye going on. No one likes that. Everyone always asks how to avoid that. That's how you avoid that. I'm going to use a little bit of the darker brown on that angled brush and just hit my lashes so that when I put the under eyelashes on, they look thicker and fuller because they're going to look more connected. But it's not liner, and I'm not lining my eye. I'm just using the teensiest little bit of this shadow to kind of connect the lashes together. So I'm still going to have that empty waterline. I don't like to do much unless I'm going for a pretty sultry look, and we're not. We're just going for like everyday average. And I'll take this brush that we applied everything with, and I won't add any extra product to it, and I'll just go over that just to make sure everything is nice and blended. And then for mascara, for the top lashes, I'm going to use the Pacifica Dream Big. I like this because it kind of just gives me a nice thin layer of mascara on my lashes to hold my fake half lash. You do want to make sure you coat all of your lashes though. Alright, for the under lashes, I'm going to use the Monosaur Big by Lancome. I like this for like a fluffy, big lash. And you don't want to skip this part, okay? Prime real estate. If you skip this part, you're not going to look as cohesive. On the under lashes, it's not clumpy or like thick and spidery, and I appreciate that. Now we're gonna let these dry. I do have this nice little fan I got from Amazon. We love her, and that helps the mascara to dry quicker. And it has a little stand so I can stand it up to blow on me and help dry what I have going on while we do lip liner. And I'm gonna use the NYX matte lip liner in London. This is just my go-to to be photographed in. It's the perfect neutral. It's not too pink, it's not too cool, it's not too light, it's not too dark. It's just, it's so good. And then I'm going to use the NYX Soft Matte Cream in London to pair this with it. It's just a really nice, wearable, like satin cream finish that looks so, so good. Now that we're nice and dry, I'm going to turn this off. Close it down. Love this fan, you guys. So good for traveling, for hiking. And it's got like a little necklace that you can wear it. She's good. Now for lashes, I'm going to use the Lily lashes. You can see that these have been worn and loved. These are the Playful Invisible Band. Now for photo shoots, I definitely recommend like a fresh, new, clean lash because they're just going to look more crisp and nice. And a half lash is going to look nicer and photograph better. Like, and we're not talking glam photo shoot. Again, we're talking like the average everyday person. I'm using the Duo Lash Glue. I like the dark one because it does add a little bit. It just like, blends in so well, and these lashes are so flattering, and like they just add that extra little oomph that you need. We're gonna pull the fan back out. I typically always use lash tweezers, but you're definitely gonna catch me using a lash tweezer on a photo shoot day. You do not want to look like you have a double lash line. It's also gonna make your lashes last a really long time if you have a long event. Good for baby showers, being a guest at a wedding. Just like the go-to glam. A go-to glam. Like what, I'm trying to figure out what to even name this, because yes, I do this for photo shoots, but like also it is. It's just like that simple glam. It's not over the top. It's not a smoky eye. It's not winged eyeliner. It's like makeup-y soft glam. I mean, it's a really good soft glam, I guess we could call it. Love that. I hope all my girlies find me. I hope all my people find me on this video, you know? Like, that's what I think every time I post a video. I'm like, where are my girlies? Are they gonna find me? When is my time for the YouTube gods to put me on the pages of those who have not found me yet? I'm waiting for my girlies. I am. My girlies who love makeup, who are not good at hair but try their best, and who are just like obsessed with getting better but also in a lazy budget kind of way. For the half lash, it's imperative that you get that inner corner, or the corner that's closest to the inner corner, to be right up against the lash line, or you're gonna have just that dead giveaway that you've got a fake lash on. Now I'm gonna use the Mario de Badescu setting spray. If you want a glow, if you want a dude, this is the one to use. If you want like a satin fixing spray, I highly recommend the NYX Bear With Me. And if you want like a more mattifying one, the Pacifica Deep Sea setting spray is really good. Highly recommend using a setting or fixing spray no matter what, and because it's going to turn all those powders and creams into one cohesive little like makeup mask on your face. I do like to push this in because if you just, the spritzer isn't that great, and so if you just let it sit on your skin, you might notice it'll try to break the makeup apart in that little splotch that's just sitting on your skin. So I do push this in, and it also just helps with the longevity of my makeup. Longevity? I don't know. Longevity? People make fun of me for the way that I say that, but. So the hair is hairing. The makeup is makeuping. What do we think, folks? I think those rollers were worth it. That is just like my go-to soft glam for events, photo shoots specifically. It's just a great, like, nice little neutral, not too much makeup look, you guys. I love this look. What do you think? Let me know. And if you try this out, please let me know. And if you do it, like, TikTok or Instagram or anything, please tag me. I love to see your guys' recreations, and if I inspire you, like, it brings me so much joy. So I will link the brow tutorial, I will link the fan and a few of the other things, and I will show you the dogs. I totally forgot to mention that if you guys like this video, if you want to see how I did my hair, or you have any requests at all, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment. All of the free things help my channel so much, helps my page, helps me find my people. I love you guys all so much that have watched this video, left a comment, or just been so kind to me on my journey through sobriety and makeup and all things on YouTube. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.